Right. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the JLR YouTube podcast. And it's time for another episode of Broken Sword 2 The Smoking Mirror walkthrough and review. It's the 6th episode. And so I'm gonna try to make the review at the beginning from what we've played so far as short as possible. I feel like I'm rambling on during these reviews, but okay, I'll keep it short. So George and Nico from Broken Sword 1, the heroes in that game, Shadow of the Templars. If you don't want me to spoil that game for you, then I suggest you stop watching this video and should check out my walkthrough and review of that game, Broken Sword 1, the first Broken Sword game. Shadow of the Templars. But anyway, so you have been warned. So George, Nico, our heroes from that game are back after when they saved the world from the Neo Templars, and this time it's saving the world from some mysterious Mayan or Aztec god. Either one, I suppose, but I think it's Mayan probably. Yeah, so what happened was George left Nico for half a year because his father was dying. Then he came back to France to meet with her, but she wanted to take him, go to a Professor Ubier to talk about a Mayan stone that she received. That stone that she received was supposed to be an evidence against General Karsak, a guy who is behind a transporting company called Condor Transglobal that supposedly does export a Mayan artifact, but that would be just a cover-up for drug smuggling. But when Nico got the evidence, which she thought would be narcotics, it was actually this Mayan artifact, Mayan stone. So when they went to Professor Ubio's house, he wasn't there. Instead, there was a guy called Pablo and another guy called Titipoco that they kidnapped Nico and knocked out George, and he was left to die under near this big poisonous spider and or venomous, either way, who knows, whatever. Okay, and in a burning house, but we managed to escape, and we managed to find Labino, to find out more about the stone that Nico had been talking about, and Labino actually had the stone, so Nico didn't even have it when they went to Professor Rubio's house, and what unfolded was George finds out that from a guy at the Glee's gallery that Ubier is importing these Mayan artifacts through this company Condor Transglobal that had a dock in Marseille, and that's where Nico was being kept, and George was able to save her from the clutches there from Pablo, and there also Nico explained to George more in detail like what was going on, who's this General Karsak, and why the stone, why she had the stone. She didn't really know anything much about the stone then, but she knew that was the so-called evidence that was sent to her. But what they found out is that Ubier and Contra Transglobal is Ubier gets his artifacts from Quadamante City, and the company Contra Transglobal was based in Quadamante City, so they thought that would be the good lead to go there and find out more. And what happened was they were in this city, Quadamante City, where a lot of fishy things started to happen. We met Dwayne and Pearl Johnson from Broken Sword 1, the American couple that they were in Syria, where we sold them a fake statue, and Dwayne supposedly is still working for the CIA, and he was actually on this Condor Transglobal case, but he said they had vanished as soon as he arrived in Quadamante City. And the weird thing was this General, the guy behind the tourist information center, and the police, all in one. He denied everything. He said there was never a company called Condor Transglobal in Quadamante City. There was never a ship waving a flag, but the CEO or the owner of I'm not sure. She was probably a CEO or something of the mining company in the city. They said there was definitely a Condor Transglobal company, and that there was a ship called the Mayan Princess that came was the one that exported the Mayan artifact. But what we found out more is that Professor Ubia was in Paramonte, and he was looking at a map with the general, and that map was a map of the site of the mine, which led to the CEO of the mine company, the lady, what's her name? Anyway, she wanted to help us try. She gave us a detonator to help us try to blow up the wall of the prison where Miguel was. He was supposed to be the anti-government agent that was helping Dwayne Henderson, and should have had more information about Condor Transglobal. But what happened was, like, it wasn't even. Dwayne didn't really have explosive. He had like horse apples, like he said it, and so that plan didn't work. But they were able to manage to escape anyways. But yeah, they had to escape on a boat, and it was George, Nico, and this Miguel guy. And then during the night, the boat there was a helicopter, a chopper, that shot at the boat, and the boat exploded, and they all went, I think, I don't know about Miguel, he might have died, but at least George and Nico survived, although Nico was bitten by a poisonous snake. And to save her, George had to go to a village where a shaman had a root that could be used to save Nico. But then he revealed to George that Mayan stone that he had, the Coyote Stone, is one of the 3 stones that protect protect the world, I suppose, against Tezcatlipoca, who is the god of death and destruction that is stuck in the smoking mirror inside the temple, Mayan temple. And during the eclipse, it's within less than 2 weeks, I think George said, which dawns the end of the 5th age. If those stones are not back in place, Tezcatlipoca will go out and rule the day. Basically, once again, George and Nico need to save the world. So they have the Coyote Stone, but they needed to track down the other 2 stones. So that is why George went to the Caribbean, to Ketz's Landing, where a pirate called Ketz settled and retired there. He's supposed to have stolen the Eagle Stone. And then Nico went to London to go to the British Museum, because a sailor that we find, an English privateer, we first heard of called as El Draco, but later found out his real name was Sir Francis Drake, is the one that stole the Jaguar Stone. And what happens is, we played both George and Nico in the last episode. George was able to get into the museum. The cats is dedicated to the pirate cats, although his ancestors were his descendants, I suppose. The old ladies, they really didn't like George calling him a pirate. But George was able to... there was this guy called Bronze, and he was going to change the museum into a sleazy pirate hotel, and they didn't know about it. But George was able to let them know that was his plans, and so they sided with him and decided to let him into the museum. That was the end of George's part. And then Nico in the British Museum, she saw the Jaguar Stone, and then met Professor Ubie. He was all of a sudden there at the museum. And then when he left, they went to see. She wanted to see if the Jaguar Stone was still there, and it had been stolen. And it was so obvious it was probably it was so obvious it would have been Professor Ubie, because there was a key still in the keyhole of the display case, and that meant it was an inside job. So it was definitely Professor Ubie. He was supposed to be an expert there to help, but he just stole the Jaguar Stone. And we found out he's going to the docks somewhere in London, to a certain ship, Isabella Princess. I forgot the name. And but yeah, she managed to escape the museum. So that's where it ended. And then we went back to George, where he's now inside the museum for Catch, the pirate. Catch, not restart, restore. There we are. So that's quite the summary, isn't it? So yeah, it's gonna be kind of weird to talk about these 2 different routes we're taking. That we're playing George and then Nico kind of zigzagging between it, but it's kind of events that are supposed to be happening at the same time. So anyways, here we are. Now let's try to find out more information about the pirate cat and where he possibly could have put the eagle stone. I mean, he definitely, well...
It was a beautifully crafted model of a sailing ship.
Beautifully crafted model of a sailing ship. Can we pick up the ship? Or
The ship looked too fragile to touch.
okay, maybe we should not do it. There's a lantern.
It was a neat oil lantern made of brass.
Okay, we could pick it up, but then what?
Holding that lantern, I felt kinda biblical. Like Jesus or Florence Nightingale.
First Nightingale? So we could put the lamp somewhere. But well, I guess we could put it here on the desk. Nope. He just lifts his arms and ignores that. Well, he's going to the desk anyway.
That looked like that's where it was supposed to be, so I left it there.
Oh, he's not going to do anything with the desk then.
The top surface of the desk had a large recessed area set into it. I guessed it was intended to stop things rolling off in heavy seas. There was also an inkwell, and, a few inches away, a small hole with a feather placed in it.
All right. There's an inkwell.
It was an indented well in the corner of the desk. I guess it was intended to hold ink, but it seemed unnecessarily wide. Maybe Ketch had used it to hold his rum bottles steady in heavy seas.
Could be that. Could we do something with it? No. There's the quill here.
It was one of those old pens made out of a feather.
Okay, let's pick it up.
That might come in useful, in ticklish situations.
Ha ha ha. Pen holder.
It was the holder for the quill.
So we could put something in there.
It was firmly attached to the desk.
Okay, so an inkwell, a pen holder, and then the desk
The
itself.
top surface of the desk had
Yeah,
there was also an ink.
There's a sea chest
It
here.
was Captain Ketch's sea chest. Its
Really?
battered appearance hinted at salty tales of maritime adventure and swashbuckling. Long months at sea with a rum-sodden, mutinous crew, hardtack and scurvy. And this chest, full to the brim with Ketch's loot, pearls, diamonds, emeralds, and doubloons. On the other hand, it could have been full of spare blankets.
It's quite the rambling. It just went on, George. Maybe the stone is in there. Let's look and see if we can't get the stone. It won't open. Trying again.
Surprise!
There's a little girl in the chest. Jesus. How long were you in there? Just going up to her.
What the? Who are you?
I'm Emily.
What were
What's
you
Emily?
doing in there, Emily?
Hiding. What are you doing here?
Grown-up stuff.
Grown-ups? Pfft, I'm never going to grow up, I'm not. You shouldn't be here. What's your name?
I'm George.
Pleased to meet you, Jaws.
George.
Jaws?
Jaws?
Jeez.
Make your mind up.
George is a perfectly normal name, also in the UK. What's Joel? Well, maybe she lives in the Caribbean. She forgot certain names. We can ask her about the stone, I suppose.
Look, an ancient Mayan stone.
Is that a magic stone?
Well, I don't know about that.
No.
She hasn't seen another stone like that. Shall we ask more about cats?
What can you tell me about Captain Ketch?
That's him on the wall, in the picture.
Yeah?
Ah.
Boy, that's interesting.
He was a sailor captain. This is his house.
Interesting. Shall we ask about Rio?
Why don't you go play with Rio?
I'm not allowed.
How come?
'Cause Aunt Frost says I'm not allowed out of the house. That's why, Mr. Nosy Beak.
Too bad.
She's not allowed out of the house. Let's ask
Why
more
don't
about
you
Rio.
ask your other aunt if you can play with Rio?
Aunt Mina's cuckoo. Aunt Frost says so. She says when the Lord handed out common sense, Aunt Mina was off getting double portions of chin.
That's why she's... Okay, well... fat.
That Rio's a smart kid. He helped me outwit Bronson.
Rio is clever. He can spit ever so far.
Interesting. Let's ask about the darts.
Would you like to play darts?
No?
Oh, come on. I'll throw, you catch.
That's dangerous. Darts will stick in me and make me bleed.
The theodolite?
Do you know how to use a theodolite?
We don't learn anything about surveying at my school. Not until 5th grade.
Not until 5th grade. What kind of school is that? Alright, we have nothing else to talk to her about. Let's look at her.
The little girl had cute freckles, cute little nose, and the eyes of a KGB interrogator.
What?
Around her neck was a large cross on a chain. Fine, as long as she didn't try to convert me.
Large cross on a chain. Okay, what's this here?
It was an actual pirate ship chart.
Really? Shall we look at the charts?
Okay, I've had my hands on an historical document. Now what?
I think this chart has to go on the desk. Look at the desk. Look at the rectangle shape on the desk. Sure looks like it could be for a map. Yeah. That it is.
The chart fitted exactly into the recess on the top of the desk.
All right.
What you doing, Jaws?
I'm putting this old map on the desk
What you doing that for, Jaws?
because it was obviously intended to fit in this recessed area.
How'd you work that out?
It's obvious.
Yeah. That's very inquisitive of her. There's a ship's wheel here.
Maybe that wheel was from Ketch's ship. Suddenly, I was 12 years old again.
Really? You want to use the wheel?
Hard a port, bosun. Aye, aye, Captain Stobbart. She cannot take it, Captain. My lad's dead. Abandon ship.
Having fun, George? He's just by himself. Well, Emily's there. Let's look at the
It
bell.
was a ship's bell.
Can we play with the bell as well?
2 bells and all's well. Pirates
Uh-huh.
were cool.
I don't know about you, George, if you're cool. You seem very childish. Alright, let's look at the portrait. Okay.
Captain Frederick Ketch, 1570. Around his neck was a cross. It was identical to the one the little girl was wearing.
Hello. Might be the same cross. Can we do something else with the portrait? No.
It was the portrait might have made a nice souvenir, but it was too large to carry.
Yeah, we're probably not going to take that. Let me see. So there's also.
It was an
barrels, yeah.
old wooden barrel. Maybe it was from Ketch's ship.
Maybe there's something inside the barrel? Could there be?
Yow! I should have known better than to put my hand in there. Grandma Stobbart had a nasty experience in a water butt once.
So what the hell was in there?
It was an old wooden barrel.
It wouldn't say. Okay, never mind. Probably just or something. I don't know. So we talk to Emily again because she has that cross.
Why don't you run along and play?
Aunt Mina told me, stay out of mischief.
Well, that doesn't mean you have to stay indoors, does it? On a beautiful day like today?
There's a storm coming.
Oh, nuts. You don't know that.
I do so. I can see the whole world from the window.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm busy.
Let's ask about the cross.
That cross you're wearing, Emily,
It's my lucky Jesus cross.
it's just like the one Captain Ketch wore.
Uh-huh.
Can I borrow it?
Uh-uh.
Oh, come on.
What would you trade for that cross, Emily?
A puppy.
Well, I don't happen to have a puppy in my pocket right now. Can you think of anything else you'd trade?
Don't know.
Don't know. Okay. We might need to trade something with her. With that cross.
It was an old book with spidery writing covering the open pages.
So look at the ship's log.
March 20th, 1670 fix. Engaged frigate off Fan Falvador? It was garbage. Huh. I guess being a pirate didn't require too many academic qualifications. The passage went on to describe how Ketch had got wind of the approach of a fleet of English ships. It seemed the new governor had not shared his predecessor's views on Ketch's activities. They were out for his blood. sailed to that place where I made secure my fortune. I returned safe in the knowledge that the governor shall not discover that which I had hidden. For is it not writ that 'tis easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle?
Easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle. That has to mean something. That lantern. If the map could go on the desk, then maybe the lantern can go into that inkwell. It did say it was pretty wide, so why not?
The lantern fitted so precisely in the inkwell, it could only be deliberate.
It is deliberate. Okay,
you doing now,
the
Jaws?
hell was that?
Knock it off, will ya? There's something you ought to know. I don't buy cute or lost puppy. I've put the lantern in the inkwell. See? It fits.
Why?
Because it was cut to fit.
Why?
Because sneaky old Captain Ketch made it that way.
Why?
What is with all the questions?
'Cause I'm interested.
Why?
'Cause I have the insatiable curiosity of the young.
Why?
All right, truce.
Caught in that web. Pen holder, that's the only thing that's left. Folks, I'm pretty sure. There was the feather in there, but it probably didn't mean anything when the feather was in there. In the pen holder. We can put it back in.
What you doing now?
Grown-up stuff.
I doubt that.
I've
still-
put the feather back. Are you happy now?
Don't you want to steal it anymore?
For the last time, I didn't steal it.
That's your word against mine, and I'm the one with the dimples.
Oh, so she thought we were stealing the feather. If we look at the desk...
That looked like that's where it was supposed to be, so I left it there.
Okay, we're not getting anything
The
out
desk
of...
had obviously been cut to fit the chart.
We're not
It
getting
was
anything...
one of those old pens made out of a feather.
If we look at the... Yeah, there's nothing coming out of us putting that quill there. So, but did you see how she moved? She just kind of transformed. She was looking right, and then she kind of just faded out and faded in, facing the other way. That was not a normal movement. What kind of a movement was that? So, something weird is going on. I'm just going to save here. So, we're going to need that cross. What can we trade with her?
There were several things I wanted to say to that awful kid, but I held my tongue.
We have nothing to say. So, there's nothing else much we can do in here. Maybe Rio can help us about getting something for her. The cat is still eating that fish.
A cute little putty tat.
Yeah, we know now. Let's go down the steps and talk to Rio. Rio, your friend is annoying us, and we need her cross. Let's talk to Rio here. He's near the bicycle that we once... The wheel that we caught here in the last episode. Let's ask about Emily.
What do you give to a small, irritating girl who asks about everything?
Try a conch. Delicate colors, interesting shape, and when you put it to your ear, you can hear the sea.
Yeah, why's that?
Usually because you're standing next to it.
Cool. Have you got one?
Yeah, but I promised it to my sister. She well vexed with me.
Notice he didn't say... He didn't say the name Emily. He just said a really annoying girl that won't stop asking questions. Why are the sister vexed?
Why is your sister mad with you?
Yeah, why
Well,
she...
last night, when I got home with our supper, she went wild. Rio, she said, how come all you ever catch is puffer fish? A sicker puffer fish. What I want is tiger fish. So don't bother come back home till you catch one, boy. I don't see how I'm gonna catch no tiger fish. All I have is a fishing pole and a worm.
You need something else for the tiger fish?
What do you need to catch a tiger fish?
One of them real fancy flies like the rich fishermen use.
But the quill help?
Any use for a quill?
What's a quill?
It's what people used to write with in Captain Ketch's days.
No, man, I'd sooner be fishing.
So the quill is not gonna work, but we need a fly.
It was the quill I'd found in the Ketch Museum.
Maybe we could alter the quill in some way? Or maybe we could have someone help us fix it up. You know where we're going? The cat. I know that cat can make a mess with that quill just like it did with the fish. Here.
The cat made short work of the feather, tearing it into a blizzard of small pieces.
Wow. That was quick. Can we pick it up? Or do we have to fear the cat's paw? Feather shred. How does it look now?
The quill had been torn into small pieces.
Okay. I guess it's kind of fly-like, isn't it? That's probably gonna work better for Rio. Hey, Rio! There he is. Let's talk to him, man. I'll talk to the boy, I suppose. What about this?
Hey, this is just what you need to make a fly.
He's taking it.
Thanks. Let's hope them tiger fish hungry. A deal's a deal. Here's a conch.
Nice. So we have an item to trade with Emily. Although, yeah, like I said, why didn't he just mention Emily is the one we're gonna give the conch to? Rio said in the last episode when George said they thought you were out playing with Emily, and then he said, "With Emily, you're madder than them. You're crazier than them. Why would you think such a thing?" All right. So once again, let's see if this thing happens again. If we go, okay. So if we go here behind her, like here, around the desk, and then let's go up to her and start talking. Oh no, wait. Then we face her on the other way. Okay. I thought we were gonna face her from the back, but okay.
Here, I've got a conch. Would you like it?
Dunno. Aunt Frost told me never to take presents from strange men.
I'm not a strange man.
Then why are you called Jaws? Jaws? That's a stupid name.
His name is
I'm
George.
not called... Look, conch, pretty. Swap for the cross, yes or no? Right, this thing's going out the window.
Okay, we'll do swapsies.
Swapsies. There you go. And she's giving him the cross. Thank you for that. Alright, so once again, we have this cross here, and we're gonna put it now in the pen holder. That's probably gonna work. Yes.
Ketch's cross slipped snugly into the pen holder.
Nice.
Before you ask, I put your cross in this little hole in the desk.
Why?
Impulse mainly, with a dash of irrational intuition.
Silly. Only women have intuition.
It's
The
not
lantern
true.
cast a strong light over the desktop. The light cast a shadow of the cross,
Right?
and the shadow fell precisely over a small, unnamed island shaped like a skull.
Shaped like a skull. That has to be our
That must be
destination.
it. Ketch's Treasure Island.
Uh-oh. That's Zombie Island. It's a bad place.
No kidding? Well, bad place or not, that's my next port of call.
Can I come too?
The hell you can.
I never get to leave the house.
Why do you never get to leave the house? What's up with that, Emily? Can we pick up the cross
I wasn't
again?
going to take the cross out of the holder. Somehow I just knew that was where it was supposed to be.
All right. Shall we read the ship's logs again? See if they know if there's something about the skull in
Sailed
it?
to that place where I made secure my fortune. I returned safe in the knowledge that the governor shall not discover that which I had hidden. For is it not writ that 'tis easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle?
Easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle. It doesn't say anything about that island. Zombie Island. Shall we talk to Emily once more before we go, or nothing else to say, I suppose?
There were several things.
Yeah. Let's just leave. What about now? We don't have the lucky piece of cold. We're not going to show their panties, then we'll get arrested. Down the steps we go, and I'm guessing we can now deal with Rio about, like, he has that boat, and we would love to go to that island. Zombie Island. And that's where the treasure has to be, right? That all those clues on Ketch's desk.
Would you
That's
take
what
me to, Zombie Island?
In this weather? You're mad, man.
The rain will keep the zombies indoors.
Let's ask more about zombies.
Just say I did meet a zombie. What would you do?
There ain't no zombies on Zombie Island. At least, not anymore. It's uninhabited.
Good. What do you mean, not anymore?
You still want to go?
I guess.
Well, I ain't had no luck with them tiger fish. And with the mood my sister is in, I'll be safer with the zombies.
Safer with the zombies. Then let's go. Zombie. 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 So off to Zombie Island we're going. You say there's a storm coming, but we don't actually see any evidence of that. And they're off. Oh, Bronson is being pushed by the old lady's pushed him off the dock into the ocean. Wait, they actually look at those clouds. They're look kind of stormy. And here we are, cutscene over. George hops into the water and arrives on shore of Zombie Island.
So, this was Zombie Island.
It is.
Somehow I'd been expecting something more sinister.
I don't know. The music's kind of sinister.
Come on, Rio. Let's find that treasure.
No, thanks. I'm staying right here.
Oh, come on. You said yourself there's no zombies left.
Yeah, but that was while there was a big pile of seawater between me and this place. All me have now is this little bit between the boat and the shore, and I'm hanging on to it.
Just a very little... what? No way. What's this?
No, it can't be. But it was. My lucky piece of coal. Rio, how far away is Ketch's Landing from here?
Best part of 10 miles. Why?
10 miles? That catapult must have been a lot more powerful than I thought.
There's no way it was that powerful. So that's quite the Easter egg. We used first the coal in the catapult, and it... Yeah, George did say it went into orbit, but yeah, that's very far away. You can look at the
Rio's
boat a little
boat
bit.
was strewn with fishing nets and tackle.
Fishing and tackles. Let's look at the rock outcrop here.
The outcrop was about the only feature on the cliff face.
Could we get up on it, or...
It was too high. I couldn't get up there.
We might need help. Maybe Ryu can help us with it. So, shall we ask him more about Emily? She wouldn't stop talking, right?
That Emily sure asks a lot of questions.
Rest it, man. This whole Emily business just isn't funny.
Look, we're obviously at cross purposes here. I'm talking about Emily Ketch.
Yeah, and so am I. She was my friend. Her aunts hated it, but we did move together, you know. She used to be real keen at hide and seek. It could take hours to find her. One time, the last time, it took days. She must have shouted and screamed herself hoarse, but there was nobody to hear her.
Where'd she hidden herself?
Captain Ketch's old sea chest. The only way to open it was from the outside.
Suddenly, I didn't feel so good. We never exchanged another word about Emily Ketch.
Folks, Emily Ketch wasn't even alive. She was dead. Was a ghost. That's why she moved that way. Creepy. Okay, anyway. Can we get the net?
Could I borrow your net?
Yeah, man, no problem.
What a weird... That's one of the more kind of sinister things in this game. Is that... Yeah, she was most likely a
You
ghost.
planning
Never
on catching
alive.
some fish?
Nope.
The way
I'm
that
after a
everyone
big
talked
rock.
about her in past tense and stuff like that, and like you were playing with her, Emily, you're madder than them. The last time she hit. Yeah. Well, we got the net though, so probably gonna use the net to climb up this rock. That we're gonna do. I mean, I guess we shouldn't be...
Well, here I go. Wish me luck, Rio.
Good luck, George. Watch out for the Walking Dead.
We shouldn't be that worried about ghosts appearing in this game.
I stumbled down dark
it's time for
stairwells
Nico.
for what seemed like forever, until suddenly I found myself... Wow! in an abandoned London Underground station. This place must have been closed down decades ago.
You want sinister? Here's more sinister. We're in a place where, yeah. Closed down underground station. For the tube! It's not a subway, right? Tube! So what do we have here? We have a vending machine here.
It was an old chocolate vending machine.
Old chocolate vending machine. What else do we have here? A poster?
It was a poster advertising holidays in Scotland.
Holidays in Scotland? We were in Scotland in the last game.
It was an old ticket machine. A sign read, Tickets 3D.
Is there something we can do with this ticket machine? Could we get a ticket?
The machine looked like it had sold its last ticket a long time ago.
Alright. Is there something we can do with this vending machine? There's a coin slot.
1D only was embossed below the coin slot. Something protruded slightly from the slot.
Can we do something
The slot
with it?
was much too thin for my fingers.
Too thin for your fingers? What about your hair clip? Oh.
I pushed the hair clip into the slot and whatever was stuck there disappeared into the machine.
That's convenient. It's in the coin reject slot. Must be the coin.
I pulled out an old English penny.
An old English penny, you say? Could we still use it to buy chocolate?
An ancient
Yes.
bar of chocolate dropped into the tray at the bottom of the machine. And as a special bonus, the penny dropped through to the reject bucket.
That's convenient. We could pick up the coin then, I suppose.
I pulled out an old English penny.
So we were able to get chocolate as well. Oh wait, we need to get it from the vending slot.
I took the ancient bar of chocolate.
Ancient bar of chocolate. Could we not eat it?
It was a
Or-
very old bar of chocolate with a row of boys pictured on the wrapper.
row of boys. What's over here? Sleep?
A pile of old railway sleepers was blocking the platform.
Okay. Let me just save here real quick before we continue because things are just gonna get more weird now. So let's see. Let's go this way. Son of a bitch! It's a ghost. It disappeared, but there was a ghost there. What if we just walk away again? It reappears. If we look at the ghost, disappears again. Look at that. Oh, Nico was startled. She was not startled by the ghost, but she was startled by a train
It was
coming
the
from
tunnel
the
the train had come out of.
So obviously there's a train passing by. If only we could stop the train. How could we do that? Well, let's see. Maybe the ghost... Oh, here comes the ghost again. Shall we ask for an advice here? Ghost?
The ghost didn't seem threatening in any way.
Actually, if you look closer at the ghost, it sure looks like Khan and that old woman get up at the end of Broken Sword 1. The train passing again. Can we talk to the ghost?
The ghost obviously didn't want to talk.
Nico
Perhaps it was shy.
Yeah, you're taking this way too easy. You're not startled at all, as we say. Maybe the ghost wants something? Chocolate? Sure, why not? Here, have a piece of chocolate, ghost. Will she take it?
The ghost obviously didn't want to talk.
Okay. We're not able to give it the chocolate. But what happens when we do something like that? We gave the ghost chocolate. Exit? We can leave the place? Sure, let's go then. If we can just leave. What the hell
Who
is
the
going on?
hell are you?
Joey, is that you?
Joey?
Oh, I remember you now. Hey, listen. Don't go near that hole.
Nobody tells Robert Foster what to do, lady.
You don't understand. I've played this game before. There's something horrible in that hole. Some beast with tentacles.
You're nuts.
Yeah, this is a really nutty Easter egg. And a monster dragged him into the hole and ate him.
They don't make animations like that anymore.
It's the same company, Revolution Soft. You can... Okay, so that was one of the weirdest Easter eggs in this game. You basically go into another game as Nico. So, anyways, enough with the ghost that looks like Khan. It's probably Khan as the old lady in Broken Sword 1. There's still the matter of this vending machine over here.
LBS. Lubes? What are lubes?
Yes, she's France. She only knows kilograms like the rest of the world. Probably pounds. Let's wait. Use the waiting machine and see what comes out of it.
I put the old penny into the slot. The needle twitched rustily and the machine spat out a card.
Alright. And what does the card say?
The weight was in imperial units. It meant nothing to me. The card also had my fortune on it. A family quarrel will turn out to your advantage.
Interesting. Family quarrel? With whom? George? Probably not. Let's look at this cupboard here.
It was a maintenance cupboard.
There must be something we should do with this cupboard, right?
A latch lock stopped me getting into the cupboard.
A lock? We have been able to fix a lock before. We used this ancient dagger for it. See? We should be able to open it.
The blade of the dagger just fitted between the door and the softwood frame.
Mm-hmm.
The door gave slightly and then held firm.
So there is a
My
crack?
fingers were too big to reach into the tiny crack.
Okay, so we cannot use the finger to use it, get into the crack, but could we use
The
the
blade
dagger?
of the dagger was too thick to get into the narrow crack.
Okay, so then we cannot use the dagger as well. So we need something that's not as thick. The cards, probably. There we go.
I remembered my student days when I regularly forgot my house keys. A wiggle with the thick card between the frame and the lock, and the latch lifted.
I never forget my wallet, my cell phone, smartphone, I suppose, keys, and sunglasses, and headphones. Those 5 things are the things that I check every time before I go out. And I actually count them. Okay, let's do the count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do I have the wallet? Do I have the phone? Do I have sunglasses? Do I have the keys? Do I have headphones? And if I've counted 5 things, that means I have everything. I never forget my wallet or cell phone anywhere. So that's my advice for you. For those who are keep forgetting their stuff, just count the most valuable stuff. If it's around 5 things, and just count before you go out. Count 5 things. Anyways, there's always a train passing us by, but it won't stop because the signal is
The
green.
train signal light still worked.
Yeah. So maybe this button will change the light. Let's find out. Oh, here we go. It's the red light. So that means the next train will stop. Well done, Nico. Not much talking here. It was just basically Nico by herself
The
trying to find
train was my ride out of there. I could worry about not having a ticket when I got to the docks.
That's good. Get yourself to the docks as soon as possible. Why wouldn't that never mind. Well, meanwhile, we'll go back to the Caribbean. So that was it was a quick play there with Nico getting herself to a train on the way to the docks. And George has now finally climbed up the rock and is now up on the island looking around. So now we continue as George on Zombie Island. So we still have quite the time left. So I think I'll try to finish this part of Zombie Island. And then, well, I'll judge it later. So let's save the game. and see what we can do here. Okay, so we'll go this way first. This is quite the swamp.
It was
here.
a stagnant swamp.
Much like Nico in the at the station there, underground station. There's not a lot of people around us, and there's not much talking to do. It's just us moving around, looking at things.
A clump of reeds grew out of the stinking swamp.
Okay, so we pull out the reeds. Nice. We've got a nice looking reed there. Shall we exit this way? Or this way? There's an exit here, then there's... Wait, is this one exit? And then there's an exit here. We go this way. What on earth? We ended it at the same place coming from that way. Where? What does that mean? If we go this way, we'll go back where we just came from? No, then we are at some hole here. There's a layer.
There was something in that hole beneath the rock.
So look at what's in that hole.
As soon as I stooped to investigate the hole, its inhabitant disappeared into the darkness.
Weird sound coming from there. We'll throw the dart in there. No, couldn't do that. What about the net? Shall we try to capture it? No. Shall we poke it with a stick? Or this rod here? Oh, what happens then?
The end of the reed had been neatly bitten off.
Really? Sounds like that's convenient.
Now I knew what was living in there. A long-toothed, snarling, furry wild thing.
Interesting. Shall we look at
The
it?
reed was a lot shorter since that creature had savaged it.
Sounds like, well, it sounds like it really helped us there, man. So we can go this way next. Alright, we're in this forest here. Let's move on. Back to this swamp thing. So I guess we can go now out of that area. Okay, interesting. So, again, there's a couple of exits here. There's one over here. 1, 2, 3. Shall we go to the one that's on the top? We're back in the swamp area.
The woods seemed to go on forever.
Yeah, something's weird going on, right? Let's go back the way we came. Back the way we came. We're out of the forest. We're in quite the, quite the maze. Let's go back in it. So we probably should not go this way, nor this way. What about if we can go all the way that way? Yeah. That seemed to make sense. Where the snarly thing was. Long tooth thing.
Hold on. I've been here before.
Yes, we have.
Haven't I?
We definitely were here before. Let's go. That's it. Okay, we're back at the swamp. Now let's go that way instead. And then, where are we now? We took this path first. So shall we take this middle path here? Okay, we're back in this area. What about going forward then? Oh! Here we go. We found the top of a mountain here. Nice. Very nice view of the entire island. What do we have engraved here? Initials?
Initials had been carved into the rock.
Let's look at the initials.
Initials carved into the stone read F.K. Frederick Ketch had been here.
Frederick Ketch. How do you do? And there are holes here. Let's look at the holes.
3 shallow holes had been made in the rock.
3 shallow holes? Hold on. What is that? What is the thing that we have that has 3 legs?
It was Bronson's theodolite.
It's like it's like when we found the spot in Montpensier for the tripod that had 3 holes in it. It seems pretty obvious that we should put the theodolite over there. Theodolite. Let's look at it.
It was Bronson's theodolite, now being put to a nobler use than petty larceny.
That's a good one. A good way to look at it. Shall we look through the theodolite and survey the island?
The hill I was on had reminded me of a camel's hump as I'd climbed up it. Now I had to see what I could see.
Reminded you of a camel's hump. For isn't it easier for a camel to pass through the needle, eye of a needle, wasn't it? So if if the top of the mountain reminds you of a camel's hump, then if that's the camel's hump, then we're looking for a eye in a needle. All right, then let's go look around then. There's nothing that seems to be on... I mean, pointing down seems to be the way to go away from where we're supposed to look at. I'm not sure. There's a cave.
It was a good cave for hiding treasure in. Shame about the flooding problem.
Probably not.
It was a good cave.
No. Probably not in there. There's a pillar.
A needle rock. Eye of the needle?
Needle rock. Maybe that could be the one that we were searching for. Eye of needle. We're looking for something. So there are pillars.
Heck.
There.
Ketch could have hidden his treasure anywhere. This island's full of hiding places.
Probably right.
Heck. Ketch could have hidden his treasure anywhere. This island's full of hiding places.
There's a pillar over there. Yeah, he's saying that about almost every place that we're looking at. Heck. What's over there?
There was an enormous cave. Every tourist for the last 3 centuries must have been in that one.
Okay, probably not that one.
An ugly little cave. Didn't look like the sort of place you'd want to leave treasure.
You're confident about that, George. Nothing else? No. So we're probably... He's mentioning a needle rock, like the eye of the needle. We need to find a rock like that. So the only way to exit is going down here. And we're back where we started. Could we exit this way? Back in the swamp area? Yep.
Huh?
Huh? Every time he gets lost. He just lifts up his arm. What if we go this way? Okay. And then head back into the swamp area. Back this way over here. And if we go down this path, the one furthest down, the south path. No,
the woods seem to go on forever.
We're just walking in circles then. Yeah. Might have to give up trying to look for whatever it is we're looking for in here. There was this other path that we can go. Maybe there's something at the end of this path. Okay, this looks different. There's some trees. Let's move forward. What is over there by the trees? What on earth? Is that a warthog? A wild boar?
The path was blocked by an ugly and extremely dangerous-looking boar.
Can we not just pass the boar? Nope. Steps closer to us and...
The boar's expression said, "Forget it, Stobbart."
So, I've been told, because there are a lot of wild boars in Japan, you do not mess with wild boars. They run up to you and bite you. They just bite people in the legs, and really bad bites. So, and then they also have those tusks. So, wild boars are just not something you want to mess with. Let's kill it. Throw the coal at it. No. Obviously, throw the dart.
I couldn't get close enough to stick the dart in him.
Well, then, isn't it a good thing that we have this reed here?
The reed was a lot shorter since the...
We can probably put the dart in it. Yes. We have a loaded blow.
The dart fitted snugly into the reed. Great. I was tooled up and dangerous.
So probably that would not have worked if we hadn't stuck the reed into the hole with that long-toothed creature. I'm sorry, Bor, you're in our way. But we have to save the world. Get him, George. Youch! That seems like a nasty hit. Ah, the boar's still running towards George, but George is able to just step aside while the boar runs away. So much for the boar actually attacking George. Animal cruelty. I'm gonna stop playing this game. Not that serious about it. Now we can exit. Looky here. That's the top that we went to, right? The camel hump. This sure looks like a rock needle.
It was a
right?
needle of rock in the middle of the clearing.
Middle of the clearing.
It didn't look like a natural formation. I remembered Ketch's log. For is it not writ that 'tis easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle? Seemed pretty relevant now.
Sure does. So what could we do with it? There's a creeper here. Not the Minecraft.
The creeper just came away from the rock as I pulled it.
Is there something we can use the creeper with?
The creeper didn't look like it would hold my weight.
No. Could we throw it up on the rock needle again? No. Can we climb up the rock needle? No. George is struggling with
No good. I'd have to be bitten by a radioactive spider before I stood any chance of getting up there.
Get it to Peter Parker Spider-Man. Maybe we could put this Theodol. Yeah, the what is it called again? What am I doing?
It was the electronic marker which Bronson used with his theodolite.
Yeah, this marker for the theodolite. Maybe we can put that on the creeper and then throw it up on over to
the marker wasn't going to stay attached to anything as thick as the creeper.
Is that not good enough? What could the marker stay attached to? The net? It could. Right?
The marker clipped firmly onto the net.
Firmly indeed. So maybe with the net in place, you can put it on the creeper. See?
Great. I'd created some sort of creeper marker fishing net assembly. Sometimes I terrify myself with my creative genius.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is creative genius. Is that Revolution Software basically calling themselves geniuses by letting George say that they solved this riddle and they are geniuses for doing it? Could be, could look at it that way. So we'll throw it up on top the rock needle. So
I'd successfully got the marker into a position near the top of the needle simply by using the kind of lateral thinking that can get you institutionalized.
At least you're admitting it. You're admitting that you're insane in the midbrain. All right. Creeper with net and marker. So now, with the theodolite, we should be able to find that marker. And that should be our needle, then. That has to... So if this is the needle, and then that's the camel, then we're looking for the eye. Hole, socket, like hole, as in where the treasure might be. Oh, we're back here. I know the way. We go this way first. And then here to the left. Down here. And then this way. And we take the middle road. Not this one, but the one in the middle. And then straight forward this way. And we're back on the top of the mountain. Now let's look for that marker. The electronic marker that will flash. And show us the way. Dun-dun. Let's survey the area. Folks, this might probably be the last part of today's walkthrough and review, although we'll finish it here, I think. As soon as we find out more about this needle... Hello! What's this? Let's not just pass over the light. Here's the marker, right?
It was the marker which I had raised up the needle of rock.
Okay. That's that. So, would that mean that this pillar here has the eye?
I could see the marker I had fastened on the rock down in the forest, and right in line with it, that had to be where Ketch had hidden his treasure.
Right in line with it, on this pillar, this hole here, has to be where we'll find the treasure. So that means, we can exit down the right side of the mountain. That means we're heading towards the below. Shall I stop here? No, let's at least go down to the what do you know? We're back in London just like that. And that's where we're gonna stop. Nico hiding behind a crate. Pablo is here.
The Xibalba princess lay at anchor just below Tower Bridge. I knew I'd found the right ship as soon as I saw Pablo at the rail.
We're on the right track, is there? But folks, this is where I'll end our gameplay and walkthrough tonight. Let's save this first, and then So George was able to find out that the treasure was on Zombie Island from the Ghosta family, and Nico was able to get a train to stop at the underground station for her to get to the docks. That happened right after she had given the chocolate to the ghost at the station. A lot of ghosts in this walkthrough and review today, in this episode. There's a lot of weird Easter eggs. And then Nico just went into another game. What the hell? But I'm loving the Easter eggs. Who doesn't love Easter eggs? But here we are with Nico next. So George is on his way to he found the location of the hole. The Eye of the Needle, right? Needle rock? Eye of Needle? So yeah, he's on his way there, but at the same time, Nico is at the docks. He's found the ship where Ubia was heading, and Pablo is there, so she's definitely on the right track. Probably Ubia is there, and the stone, Jaguar stone. Next time, we'll make sure we get that stone on the boat. Okay. As I said, we'll end it here. Until next time, you guys take care. This has been the the 6th episode of Broken Sword 2: The Shadow. Broken Sword 2: The Smoking Mirror walkthrough and review. Shadow of the Templars was the first game. You can also check those videos out here and on my channel, the JLR YouTube podcast. Almost forgot the name of my own channel. And like I said, we'll be back. I'll be back here next time with another episode of Broken Sword 2, The Smoking Mirror walkthrough and review. Until then, you guys have a great day or great weekend or whatever, whenever you're watching this. All right, take care. See ya. Bye bye.